My dear friends, today I am taking injunction, and this topic has two questions, or you can say I have divided this injunction in two parts. First, define injunction and its kinds, and also object and grounds of granting temporary injunction. And in the second part, I will take principles of granting injunction. So, in the first part, definition of an injunction. An injunction is a judicial process whereby a party is required to do or to refrain from doing any particular act. This is the definition of injunction. As a matter of fact, every court is constituted for the purpose of administering justice and therefore must be deemed to possess all such powers as may be necessary to do full and complete justice to the parties before it. It is a well settled principle of law that an interim relief can always be granted in the aid of and as ancillary to the main relief available to the party on final determination of his rights in a suit. Therefore, a court undoubtedly possesses the power to grant interim relief during the pendency of the suit. My dear friends, this is the definition and full explanation of the definition. I think you have understood the meaning of this definition. Court has a power to grant a relief in between the shoot and after the shoot. So, this power may be granted on the request of the plaintiff. So, I am taking the object kinds of injunction. My dear friends, I am taking kinds of injunction. Injunction are of two kinds. First, temporary injunction and second, permanent injunction. First, temporary injunction. A temporary or an interim injunction restrains a party temporarily from doing the specified act and can be granted only until the disposal of the suit or until the further order of the court. It is regulated under the provision of the Order 39 CPC and may be granted at any stage of the suit. Permanent injunction. A permanent injunction restrains a party forever from doing the specified act and can be granted only on merits at the conclusion of the trial after hearing both the parties in the suit. It is governed by the section 38 to 42 of the Specific Relief Act 1963. My dear friends, there are two kinds of injunction: temporary injunction and permanent injunction. In temporary injunction, judge may issue a temporary relief in between the case, but it is not so in the permanent injunction. So, I have defined these two kinds of injunction: temporary injunction and permanent injunction. Now, I am taking the object of granting temporary injunction. My dear friends, now I am taking object of granting temporary injunction. The object of granting temporary injunction is to maintain and preserve status quo This is the main important point of this object. At the time of institution of the proceeding, and to prevent any change in it until the final determination of the subject suit. It is in the nature of protective relief granted in a favor of party to prevent future possible injury. So, this is the main object of granting temporary injunction to a party. Now, in the second paragraph, judge also consider the plaintiff as well as the defendant. Here you say the need of such protection, however, has to be judged against the corresponding need of the defendant to be protected against injury resulting from exercising his own legal rights. The court must weigh one need against another. This is the important point, and determine where the balance of convenience. Here, the balance of convenience lies, and may pass an appropriate order in the exercise of its discretionary power. My dear friends, in first paragraph, the judge has to maintain the status quo in the proceeding. So, this is the need of the temporary injunction to give to the plaintiff. But in the second paragraph, the judge has to consider the defendant part also. The court must weigh one need against the another and determine where the balance of convenience lies. Because the judge has to see the rights of the defendant also. So, my dear friends, object of granting temporary injunction has done, has discussed, and I think this object is clear to you. This is the object of granting temporary injunction to the parties. And I am now going to take the grounds of granting temporary injunction in next paragraph. My dear friends, now I am taking grounds of granting temporary injunction. So there are 5 grounds of granting temporary injunction, and I am taking one by one. First, where any property in dispute in a suit is in danger of being wasted, damaged, or alienated by any party. Second point, where the defendant threatens or intends to remove or dispose of his property with a view to defrauding his creditors. This is the second ground. Third ground is where the defendant threatens to dispossess the plaintiff or cause injury to the plaintiff in relation to any property. Now, fourth condition is where the defendant is about to commit a breach of contract or other injury of any kind. Now, the last grounds of granting temporary injunction, where the court is of the opinion that the interest of justice so requires. My dear friends, these are the 5 grounds of granting temporary injunction. So, I have defined these 5 grounds in detail, and in the second part of the topic injunction, I will take the principles of granting temporary injunctions. Now, in the last, my dear friends, I want to make a request to you. Please subscribe the channel. I shall be very thankful to you. And the name of my channel is Maths by Dharamveer Singh Dabas. So please subscribe. It is my again request to you.